Today I want to talk about the concept of authenticity, and specifically how you can improve your authenticity, how you can be more authentic with other people, and I'll just talk about how this operates in society and how it's operated in my own life. Because when I first started as a YouTuber, man, I was not authentic, and everyone who watches my early videos usually says that. I was not authentic, and it's because I felt like I needed to put on a personality, or I needed to put on a mask. A mask is meant to hide you from judgment. You don't want judgment, because if judgment happens, you feel bad. If judgment happens, you feel horrible, you feel negative. A mask is meant to hide you from judgment. And what this does, when you create this altered personality, and we do this in every area of our life, it actually masks authenticity as well. So another example, aside from my early YouTube videos, if you go into a store and you converse with a store clerk and they're really positive and upbeat and telling you where you can get this and where you can get that and telling you about the specials, that is not an authentic person just by nature of the job. They have to be upbeat. They have to have a mask or a personality that they, kind of amp up a little bit because they're dealing with customers. The same thing is true if you go to a doctor's office or you go to a hospital or you go to an accountant or a lawyer. They have a mask, a way of behaving with their clients and with their customers, which is different from who they are authentically. In psychology, you might call this de-individualization, when you see someone else not as a human being, but as a cog in a machine. You ever have a doctor who, they don't really even look at you, or they don't give you any kind of warmth. You might say they have a bad bedside manner. They're not viewing you as a person, they're viewing you as a patient. They're viewing you as a customer. They're viewing you as someone who is different from them in some kind of a fashion. It almost distances you from that doctor or from that person, and therefore they don't appear very authentic. When someone does not have authenticity, usually we do not trust them. There is no trust, or very little trust, particularly people who are a bit more intuitive and can sense that. It almost feels like you're hiding something, like why aren't you being yourself? Or why aren't you being congruent with how you're feeling or how you're thinking? Why is it that maybe you have very closed off, nervous body language, but you're trying to act really confident? It's probably because you feel weird. When your body language and your emotions and your face and your tone and all this kind of stuff don't match up, you don't feel trust, and you feel like that person is not being their authentic self. Authenticity not only, I think, is something that's difficult that we struggle with in our own culture, but the other thing that authenticity does is for the person, the individual who is not being authentic, for them, it's a psychological weight. It's really difficult to be inauthentic for long periods of time. You can call this a psychological weight, or something that just really stresses you and drains you. No one wants to feel like you can't be yourself, or you feel like you're not being yourself, or you almost feel like you're having to change and be a chameleon in order to fit in. Whenever you feel like you can't be yourself on an ongoing, regular basis, it's extremely, extremely draining. And it almost makes you feel as though, man, I don't feel like I have any real close connection with these people. There is no connection or human touch with the people that you're being inauthentic with. And therefore, it gives you a sense of aloneness. You feel alone. You feel frustrated. A lack of authenticity will make you feel these different things because you can't be yourself. In my opinion, the core human desire, the number one thing that we all want, the number one thing that everyone is searching for, it could be a romantic relationship, it could be your friends, it could be your family, just the people in your life, your workplace. The number thing that we want is to be able to be authentic, but to also be recognized for that and to connect with people for that reason. We want to be loved for who we are, which relates to being our authentic self. When you feel like you got love or you're loved, but not for your authentic self, you don't feel like it's real. You feel like it's conditional love, and condition and love don't really go hand in hand. You think of unconditional when you think of love. So this is the bane of many people's existences. It could be in your marriage, it could be with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, it could be also just with your friends. You're hanging out with the wrong people. You don't feel like you can be your authentic self. In your workplace, you feel like you have to be someone in order to get the customer's attention, in order to perform well for your boss, etc. I want to share with you how you can be authentic, because I actually went through this journey myself, and you've seen my voice, my way of talking has changed so much from my beginning days on YouTube, also my beginning days as a podcaster, just putting myself out there for the world to judge. My authenticity has changed a lot, and I've become way more authentic over the years. So I invite you to subscribe to this channel because I want to talk more about this, but I also need to hear from you. I need to hear from you in the comments down below. I need to know that this is something that you want to learn about, that this is something that you're also struggling with and that you want to improve. But I found that sort of as a shortcut, the number one way that you can improve your authenticity, aside from things like combating the fear that comes with judgment, combating the fear which leads to people saying bad things about you or maybe leaving bad comments for me with my YouTube channel. Aside from that and dealing with this fear of judgment, the other way that you can improve your authenticity is to actually improve your intuition. Because I didn't realize that I wasn't being authentic. I didn't realize that I wasn't feeling or being congruent with my thoughts and feelings and words and actions. I had a very low intuition. In order to be more authentic, you have to improve your intuition. You have to improve your understanding of how you feel, of the thoughts that you're having, and whether or not those things are synced up, and whether you are living authentically or not. You have to improve your intuition if you want to be authentic. So I hope that you enjoyed today's YouTube video, and also maybe it stirred some thoughts in your mind. This is an ongoing discussion between me and you, so I would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this topic? What are your thoughts on authenticity? Is it really lacking in our culture? Is this something that people struggle with even as you get older, to be authentic? What are your thoughts on intuition, on ways to improve that? Are you an intuitive person? Are you not an intuitive person? What is keeping you back from being the authentic you with your friends, with your family, with your spouse, etc.? Would love to hear from you in the comments down below. My name is Sal. I invite you to dive into some of my other content on this channel, other things that I discuss along the way, other things when it could be business, it could be my life, could be freedom. I go through a lot of different stuff on this channel, and I invite you to become a subscriber. But again, my name is Sal, and I'll see you next time.